Hello friends, welcome. Friends, I just recorded a video which uses a very simple set of Python code and converts this file, right, which is the RBI's forward-looking survey for expected inflation. So this is the file which RBI posts in its website on a regular basis. So if you go to the RBI's website, you will find that there is a link there in the RBI's website. So let me just, so this is the link. So there is probably a forward-looking survey. Yeah, this is the link. And when you press it, you will get to these the set of data sets which you can click, and then finally you can get this PDF file with the time series data. So the time series data looks something like this, okay, which has got various tabs. Now I had only worked with one of the tabs to demonstrate that how you can extract this data using simple Python code, which I showed you here, and convert this in a form which looks something like this. Simple, which we can feed into our Tableau dashboard for the purpose of visualization. And what I also showed that even if the structure of the file changes, like this was the original structure of the file, which is very simple and looks a little elegant, since we wanted this code to become future proof, so even if the structure of the file changes and becomes very distorted, still the program works and will convert this into the same data set or same file or data frame which you can feed into your Tableau dashboard for visualization. So the purpose of this video is not to basically repeat what I have already demonstrated to you. I want to now show you how you can use a simple Tableau dashboard to do the visualization. Here I am not going to use anything complex because I actually have developed very complex Tableau dashboards which we can talk about later. But here we will talk about a very simple dashboard. This is how it is going to look. So we'll go step by step. So first what we are going to do, we are going to connect to the data which I just created and it is in the hard disk. So this is the data set. So once you have uploaded the data set, what you have to do, you have to go to this web page, the working sheet, and you have to first convert the date into financial years. The first step is to use a proper financial year marking. So our financial year starts from April, so let's do April. So this is the first step you should do, right? And then you have to extract the financial year from the date part. So create another custom date of financial year. So you will find that these are no complications, so simple to implement, and anybody can do it without any Tableau skill. So just follow the steps one by one, right? So you do financial years and you will understand why you are required to do this. After having done that, what you have to do, you have to put both these things in the columns, right? So let me make this exact date. And then I put the years also. Let's not use years right now. We will use years at later time, right? So let's do what? Discrete. After having done discrete, then what I have to do? I have to now put this in the rows, okay? So it normally gives you a line curve, but I don't need line curve. I need a heat map. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to press this. I'm going to show me and then press this. So it is going to give me something like this, but this is not looking like what we want. This is not the way it is looking, right? So we have to convert this into this form. So what I am going to do, then I am going to use the metric metric information which I have put in filter. You will see that these are the dimensions on which the heat map should reflect, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the rows. So once I put this in the rows, it is looking somewhat like what you are seeing here, right? See? Somewhat like. Not exactly, somewhat like. Now, what I want in the heat map is only some of the dimensions. I don't want the deviation, standard deviation. If you want, you can keep it, but I don't want because it does not really carry any information. I want the forward-looking surveys and what is the expectation. 1 year ahead, 1 year ahead mean, 1 year ahead median, etc. All this I want, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to filter out these standard deviations, right, and remove it. And then I am going to make this data look like something like this. So what you can do, you can basically make it entire view. So once you do entire view, the information will look something like this, right? So you're with me, correct? And then I'm going to hide the date field. Now these are not at all looking like what we want, because these numbers are aggregated numbers to the year level. So if you look at the data set which we have fed into our dashboard, the inflation numbers have to be somewhere here. It is not 40, it is not 50. Why it is 40 and 50? Because I am using a aggregation function of sum, and it is doing a sum aggregation at the level of year. I don't really want that. So what I have to do is I have to convert this into exact date. Once I do exact date and then I convert it into discrete, you will find that this will look something like this. But the values which are embedded on these cells you can't read. So what you do, you have two options. So one is that you take out these marks and make it very clean, and then what you do is that you go here and then use a different color scheme, red, green, white, and then I say okay. So what will happen is that these are going to mark the cell depending upon what the values are. So you can basically see when the inflation is increasing, when the household expectation inflation is increasing, and when the household expected inflation is decreasing, and you can use the tooltip and very easily get whatever you want. But this sheet is not in the form which you can make any presentation. People will not be able to understand anything out of this sheet, right? So what do we do? So you have to constrain the data to limited financial years, because if you are going to use the full financial year, then you will never be able to plot the embed the cells with the values. The values will not show up because there are so many financial years. So if I put the date field here, and then what I do is I will convert this into discrete. So you will see that the number of and then while rotate this, I'll first remove this date header, and then what I'll do, I'll rotate this. And when I rotate the labels, then you can see that these financial years, so many financial years are seen here, which is not very easy to digest and visualize with embedded values marked within these cells. Not possible, because even if you use a very small font size, it is not going to show up anything. So what do you do? Best way to segment this heat map into pieces, and you can use a parameter to choose between month level visualization, quarter level visualization, and year level visualization. All those will require a little bit of more complex work and calculated field will consume some time. So I will do that in a separate video. But this video is to make things very simple. So what I'm going to do, I'll use the date years and put it in the filters. After having put date in the filter, sorry for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the year and select the latest 3 sets of financial years. So once I've done that, now you see that the heat map is looking better. So what you can do, you can basically select one more, right? If you really want to get a zoomed out view. And this is looking much better. Then what you do is you just show mark levels. Now you see the inflation numbers are being shown up, right? Expected inflation numbers are coming up now. It's now looking much better. Then, because there are 3 decimal places to deal with, so what you do is that let me just take my face out, and what I am going to do is I am going to format it and remove the decimal places. So I'll do custom format and do it 2. I'll center the values and use a smaller font. I'll just make it smaller. So I'll put 6. So once I do this, so now these are easily visible and it makes a lot of sense. So what story it is telling you? Now before I tell you the story, let's do one more thing. I am going to now use the date field also here. So I'm going to basically show the header, and I am going to let's do a quarter level. I think that will be much easy to visualize. Let me take the date field out and then create one more date here, custom date, which is at the quarter level. Okay, so once I do quarter, and then what I'm going to do is I will convert into discrete, and then I am going to put it here. See, now you can see here that quarters have is now being showing up here. And What also I am going to do is I am going to change the format of the date so that it looks better, because it's redundant information. FY21 I don't need it. So what I will do is I will just simply do a custom field here, and I'm going to do QQ. Right? So Q, or let's say Q. Yeah, I think that is good enough, because I already have the FY21, FY2. So the Q means that this first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, right? So now this is looking like this. See, but are there any field where the numbers are because the aggregation now is happening at the quarter level. See, it is not at the month level, because the information is at the month level. So what is happening is, now you see that some of the cells are showing a higher inflation level. So there is one way to manage this. Instead of using sum, what you can do average. So if you do average, then if you look at, I'll just go back, and you see some of the cells which were showing high numbers will get converted into averages. Now the best thing about this is that if you are using averages, you can actually have large numbers of years shown in the same dashboard. You can handle multiple quarters. See, quarter 1, so I can do FY19, still the data is visible. So in order to make the visibility better, so I'll do formatting, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to do a cell formatting, which is going to make the data much more clearly visible. So what this data is telling us, what stories data is telling us, it is telling us that, just a minute. So it is telling us that 1 year ahead inflation visualized by household, right, is 9.52 for FY21, the fourth quarter, and it was 9.65 on an average for the third quarter. The current median, the numbers which are being shown here for FY24 third quarter was 8.17 and 8.10 for the fourth quarter. So it basically clearly tells us that the household are seeing a higher inflation going forward for fourth quarter. Right, that is the data. But still, this sheet does not look good, because it does not give you a very clear understanding by looking at it, because there are so many reds, so many green. It does not make much sense, because by looking at the sheet, you will not be able to get the story clearly. You have to look at these numbers, right? Then only you will be able to get the story. So the way to handle this is you have to change the color scheme. So what I am going to do is, instead of ending the color ending at 23.14, because since I am using an average here, what I can do before, I am using sum here for this, so I'll make this also average. It will become better. So if I do, see, now it has become better because this color scheme, the steps were taken as far as 23.3, because it was using a sum. So it was not. Now you can very clearly see one thing. You can see that again. I don't think that it is still telling the story, because this whitish thing is not really telling you what the story is. This is red. This is white, right? So it's not telling you the proper story. So what you have to do is, instead of using the format or the selection which these people, the Tableau is giving you automatically to you, you can make some of your selection. Instead of choosing the center as 9.63, you can choose a lower center. So let's say 8. Let's see what happened. No, it is not working properly. So let me just choose 9.5 and let's see. Still it is not telling the story. So let me do a reverse. So if I do reverse, now it is telling the story a little bit better. So 8.10 is a lower inflation, and these are higher inflation. So you can see that 1 year ahead mean inflation is continuously being shown as higher for FY22, FY23, FY24, and the current median was high in FY22, FY23, but it has become a little lower than what it was earlier, right? So this data is now giving you a picture which you can now convert into a dashboard. So you can just take this sheet, put it into a dashboard, and then you can just hide the name of the sheet, and then you can do some formatting here, right? And you can remove this, and you can remove the phone part of it, and then you can just do some kind of beautification, put a border, remove the the padding on the border, and then what you can also do is you can remove, make this font a little lower, right, instead of using this. Another thing which you can do is that, because this is basically adding, what I do is, if I just stretch it and make it a little bit smaller to enhance the size of the dashboard and make it bigger, you see that there are certain texts which are not looking very good. So way to handle this is that you go to the data source, and here you can use a feature of Tableau which is called split. So what the Tableau will do is it will do a custom split. So when you do a custom split and say OK, so what this will do, just a minute, it is not worked here. Let me do split. No, it is not custom split. Let me do split. So what it has done is it has split these two information pieces into two separate pieces, right? See, mean has been separated out, current has been separated out. There are two. So you can basically rename this as metric 1, and then the other thing is metric 2. Rename metric 2. Whatever name you want to give. So it is up to you, right? I'm just giving you some name, an arbitrary name. And then after you come here, what you can basically do is, rather than using this as the column, the row identifier, you can use metric as the row identifier. So I'll do this, and you can remove this header. Okay, so remove the header, and now you see, and then do some formatting here and bring it down below, decrease the font and make it like this. Whatever you are seeing, I'm doing on the fly because I've been working on Tableau for last 6 years, actually 5 years, and some of the experience that I have been able to get has been significantly useful for me to visualize data, because unless you have this skill, you cannot work with data, and you cannot basically let data tell the story. It's very, very important that the data should be able to tell the story. You should learn the skills. Then only you will become master of this data science subject, and you can be able to unlock issues or stories about hidden stories within the data, which normally it may not be visible so clearly. So now you will see that it is looking a little better than what it was earlier. So now what I can do is that I can basically squeeze this dashboard and make it a little smaller. Sorry, not like this. Maybe I can just reduce the height. And then what I'll do is I'll just take this a little higher, and I'll just do some formatting here. So when I do formatting, I just go here and then do a pane formatting. I'll just choose something like this, choose a header formatting, and I do like this. And so now you have the header and the pane also formatted. So let me just do this, and I'll do some coloring here, shading. So I'll do a shading of brown, so this becomes brown, and I'll just squeeze this size of this dashboard width a little small, and then I'll take this here, here. Okay, now you see it looks better. Doesn't it look better? So what you do is you just go and copy your name, and you put a title here and show title here, and then you can just put again do some formatting here, whatever you like, And this is you can use Python to create heat map, no problems with that. But why I like dashboard, why I like Tableau is it gives you a little bit more flexibility and capability, because in Python you have to write a lot of code. And sometimes, these minute changes are not possible easily. Though everything is possible, it is much more powerful. Python, doing visualization with Python is very, very powerful. But Tableau, adds an element of ease. So my strategy always has been use Python to do data preparation, not for visualization, and use Tableau to do visualization. So once you have used Tableau to do visualization, you will find that you will be much more flexible, capable, and do a lot of visualization and analysis in a very short period of time. rather than having to spend a lot of time. So I hope that friends, you found this is useful. Then you can add your name and whatever you want to do. You can add a title. Very easy thing to do, not much. So, but that is what I thought. And then you can copy this information, copy the dashboard image, and then after having copied it, what you can do is that let me just show you. So I have this new from clipboard. So once I have copied it, this information will come like this, and then you can just save it in your file and use it wherever you want to, right? So this is a way to manage data. There could be many complications, many flexibilities that you can actually incorporate it here, which I do in my dashboard, which has the select capability to select on a quarter basis, on a day basis, whatever you want to do. And that makes the dashboard a little bit more complicated, but very useful. So once you have that capability, then you can actually look at the data. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, and you can do a lot of good things with the data, and gives you a lot of insight. So I hope that you found this useful, and let me know if you have any comments, any suggestion, and any other thing that you would like me to handle or cover. I'll be happy to take you through that subject, whatever is capable, I am capable of, because I am not capable of everything. I really didn't have any expertise. Nobody taught me. I did everything on my own, and I'm continuously learning. And I want your participation to empower me to learn better. That's the whole objective, right? So the reason I do all this video is that it makes my life easy. It makes me much more enlightened on the subject, because the best way to learn a subject is to teach somebody. Because as soon as you start teaching somebody, you try to figure out the holes in your own understanding. So that's the main objective, which motivates me to do all this writing work and do this video recording work. That's the main objective. There could be side objective also, but that is the main objective which drives and motivates me. Thank you very much, friends, for your time. I'll come back to you with the next video next time with a new topic. Thanks a lot for watching.